Colonel Avery Jackson knew the look of a trap. The powder-filled bag being waved in front of his face was no mistake. It was planted. But instead of rage, he offered silence. Controlled, deadly silence. "You're dead, man. You're going to jail for a long time." Deputy Scott Kyler sneered, his knee grinding into Avery's back, face pressed into burning gravel. The cuffs cut deep into his wrists. How did a decorated soldier, trained for war, end up like this, ambushed in the very country he had fought to protect? 20 minutes earlier, Avery had been sitting in his new silver-gray Ford F-150 in a dusty, deserted park in Red Rock County. 48 hours home from a 12-month deployment overseas, and the weight of civilian life already felt alien. The buzzing of cicadas replaced the hum of drones, yet the silence was louder, more suffocating. He was waiting for his sister to pick him up. The grocery store had overwhelmed him. Too many choices. War had simplified life. Here, everything felt absurd. He closed his eyes for peace, but saw only blood, broken faces, sand, and loss. Then came the patrol car. No lights, no sirens. A shark circling. Deputy Scott Kyler spotted him and whispered to his partner, "Brand new F-150. Black guy alone in a park. Shady. Leave him alone," O'Connell muttered, weary from decades of this. But Kyler was hungry. For power, for confrontation. He approached the truck, inspecting the tires, the paint, the man behind the wheel. A sneer curled across his lips as he tapped on the window. Jackson rolled it down, calm but alert. "Good afternoon, officer. I'm waiting for my sister." Kyler looked him up and down, eyes full of suspicion. "Nice truck. Expensive. Where'd you get the money?" "You military." Jackson handed over his military ID and license. "Colonel Avery Jackson, U.S. Army." But Kyler saw only arrogance in the title. "Get out of the car. We need to check." Though unjustified, Jackson complied. Years of training taught him to de-escalate first, fight later. He stepped out, every motion precise. He assumed the stance, legs spread, hands on the truck roof. Kyler's search was unnecessarily rough. Avery's body instinctively shifted for balance, an unconscious move trained through years of combat. Kyler took it as defiance. "You resisting?" he barked. Without warning, he tackled Jackson to the ground, gravel tearing at his cheek. The weight of the knee, the cruelty of the moment. It was all deliberate. O'Connell watched, sighing. He didn't stop it. Finding nothing during the search, Kyler grew frustrated. He rummaged through Avery's truck like a vulture, tossing aside his journal, his gear. Then came the ultimate insult. He found a green beret and mocked it. "Look, Dan, war hero." He threw the beret to the floor. Jackson said nothing, but the rage simmered beneath his still exterior. Needing a win, Kyler created his own. He slipped a plastic bag from his own pocket into Jackson's jacket, then pulled it out theatrically. Drugs. I knew it." He held the bag up triumphantly. "Look what we have here." Jackson stared, not at the powder, but into Kyler's eyes. There was no fear, only calculation. He was assessing, planning. Kyler mistook the silence for surrender. "Big mistake. You're going away for a long time," Kyler said, shoving Jackson into the patrol car. "Say goodbye to your nice truck." As they drove, Kyler continued mocking. "The colonel's gone. No one cares that you are in prison. You're just another number now." "Scott," O'Connell muttered uneasily, "maybe you should cool it." But Kyler didn't stop. Jackson just listened. Every word was ammunition, evidence. Then finally, Jackson broke his silence. "Calm. Controlled. I need to make my call." Kyler smirked and tossed Jackson's phone, sealed in a plastic bag, through the slot. "Sure. Call whoever. You're done." Cuffed hands steady, Jackson unlocked the phone and dialed. It rang once that a calm voice answered. "Yes, sir." Jackson's voice was firm, composed. "Major DeLeon, alert the JAG office. I've been detained by local authorities. Civil rights violation. I'm invoking Article 138 and requesting immediate military legal counsel. Get the CID involved. Full escalation." "Understood." He hung up and looked ahead. The wheels were already turning. Military justice had been awakened. This wasn't just going to be about one bad cop. This was going to expose a system that let men like Kyler operate unchecked. Kyler, oblivious, drove on. But O'Connell glanced back. Noticing the change, the stillness was gone. Something had shifted, and in the back seat, Colonel Avery Jackson waited. Because this wasn't the end. This was only the beginning. Colonel Avery Jackson didn't call his sister or a civilian lawyer. He dialed a number that every senior officer knew. Fort Hood base operator came to response. This is Colonel Avery Jackson. Service number 8845J210. Connect me to the Army Attorney General's office. Priority code, Dusted Eagle. The air shifted. Kyler's grin disappeared. O'Connell, pale, turned slowly. Dusted Eagle wasn't a civilian term. It was military. And serious. What the hell is Dusted Eagle? Kyler demanded. Jackson stared ahead. It's a military emergency protocol, triggered when a senior officer is detained under suspected abuse of power or potential risk to national security. It launches an immediate federal response. MPs, CID, and JAG attorneys. You got about 10 minutes before this area is locked down. Kyler slammed the brakes. The patrol car skidded to a halt. You're bluffing. No, he's not, O'Connell said shakily. Scott, we need to turn around. Jackson didn't stop. Also, as per protocol, I completed a full drug screen yesterday at Darnell Military Hospital. Clean results. Logged with the Pentagon. That bag won't match my system, but it'll have your prints. Probably yours too, Deputy O'Connell. O'Connell looked like he might faint. Kyler opened his mouth, but no words came. Then came the sound. Engines. 2 camouflaged Humvees roared from a side road and blocked them in. A Black Crown Victoria sealed their rear. 8 armed military police exited, forming a 360 degrees perimeter. They moved like professionals, fast, disciplined, efficient that a woman in fatigues stepped from the Humvee. Captain Maria Sanchez, MP. She didn't acknowledge the deputies. She walked straight to the back door. Colonel Jackson, sir, she said, saluting crisply. We're here to escort you back to base. From the black sedan, a man approached the driver's side. Major David Reed, U.S. Army Attorney General's office. Deputies Scott Kyler and Dan O'Connell. You are now under arrest, pending investigation for violation of federal law, including 18 U.S. Code Section 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. 2 CID agents bagged the white powder carefully. Another opened Kyler's door and cuffed him. He was too stunned to resist. Sanchez unlocked Jackson's cuffs. He stood slowly, rubbing his wrists, saying nothing to Kyler or O'Connell. They weren't threats anymore. He turned to Major Reed. Collect their dash cam footage. Get a statement from O'Connell. I believe he's ready to talk. O'Connell blinked hard. He knew the game was over. Speaking up was his only way out. Within days, the truth was clear. Jackson's toxicology report. The Dusted Eagle recording. Kyler's fingerprints. O'Connell's confession. Kyler was tried in federal court and sentenced to 18 years. He became the number he once mocked. O'Connell, though spared prison, lost his job, pension, and reputation. He faded into quiet disgrace. The Red Rock County Sheriff's Office fell under federal review. Investigations exposed patterns of bias and unlawful targeting, especially against veterans and people of color. Sweeping reforms followed. Mandatory bias training, oversight, and policy overhauls. Colonel Jackson didn't walk away. He took the fight national. His testimony before Congress led to the passing of a Veteran Protection Protocol, safeguarding service members from unlawful civilian harassment. Outside the newly reformed Red Rock Sheriff's Department, a mural was painted, Jackson in uniform, beside the words, "Honor doesn't end at the battlefield." For Jackson, the war didn't end overseas. It just came home.